Did you know that the only man who truly made Muhammad Ali look human inside the boxing ring wasn't George Foreman, wasn't Sonny Liston, and wasn't Larry Holmes? It was Joe Frazier, a humble son of a sharecropper who rose from poverty to become the heavyweight champion of the world, and the man who stood toe-to-toe with Ali in one of the greatest rivalries in sports history. This is the untold story of Smokin Joe Frazier, his rise, his battles, his struggles, and his unforgettable legacy. Joseph William Frazier was born on January 12, 1944, in Beaufort, South Carolina. He was the 12th child in a family of 13, living in deep poverty. His parents were sharecroppers, working long hours on farmland they didn't own. Life was tough, and young Joe grew up in a world where survival meant hard work, not dreams of glory. As a child, Joe was small but incredibly tough. He developed his strength carrying sacks of cotton, chopping wood, and working the fields. By the age of 15, he was already built like a tank, but Joe had bigger dreams. In 1959, at just 15, he moved north to Philadelphia, chasing a better life. He found work in a slaughterhouse, pounding sides of beef with his fists, a workout that would later become famous when Sylvester Stallone used it in the movie Rocky. But Joe wasn't acting. He was building his fists of steel. In Philadelphia, Joe walked into a local gym. He wasn't polished, but he had something trainers love: raw power, determination, and grit. Frazier had a natural left hook that could end fights in seconds. Short, compact, and explosive, it became his weapon of destruction. By the mid-1960s, Joe became a top amateur boxer. In 1964, he represented the United States in the Tokyo Olympics, where he won a gold medal, despite boxing with a broken thumb. That was Joe Frazier, tough, relentless, and fearless. In 1965, Frazier turned professional. His early fights showed the world his style: constant pressure, unrelenting movement, and a devastating left hook. Unlike Ali, who danced and talked, Frazier was all business. He came forward like a freight train, never taking a step back. By the late 1960s, Frazier had built an undefeated record. But the heavyweight division was in chaos. Muhammad Ali had been stripped of his title in 1967 for refusing the Vietnam draft. With Ali gone, the heavyweight crown was up for grabs. Frazier seized his chance. In 1970, Joe defeated Jimmy Ellis to become the heavyweight champion of the world. Now, a collision course with Ali was inevitable. Ali was finally allowed back into boxing in 1970. And from the moment he returned, he targeted Joe Frazier. But Ali didn't just want his belt back, he wanted to humiliate Frazier. He called him ugly, dumb, and even compared him to a gorilla. Ali knew how to sell a fight, but for Joe, these insults cut deep. On March 8, 1971, at Madison Square Garden, the world witnessed the fight of the century. Ali versus Frazier. I wasn't just boxing, it was cultural war. Ali represented rebellion, charisma, and showmanship. Frazier represented hard work, silence, and grit. For 15 brutal rounds, the two men traded punches in front of the world. Ali danced, jabbed, and talked. Frazier kept marching forward, body shots and left hooks breaking Ali down. Then, in the 15th round, Frazier landed his signature left hook, one of the most iconic punches in boxing history, sending Ali crashing to the canvas. Frazier won by unanimous decision. He had defeated Muhammad Ali and proved himself the true heavyweight champion. But that victory came at a cost. Ali's punches had damaged Frazier's body. After the fight, Joe was hospitalized for weeks. His blood pressure was dangerously high, and he nearly lost vision in one eye. Frazier had given everything to beat Ali. But boxing is cruel. Champions don't get to rest. In 1973, Frazier defended his title against a young powerhouse named George Foreman. The result? Disaster. Foreman knocked Frazier down 6 times in 2 rounds, destroying him and taking the title. Howard Cosell's famous words echoed through the broadcast. "Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!" It was one of the most shocking defeats in boxing history. Despite the loss to Foreman, the rivalry with Ali wasn't over. In 1974, Frazier and Ali met again in Madison Square Garden. This time, Ali won a close decision. The score was now 1-1, but the third fight would define them both. On October 1, 1975, in the Philippines, they fought in what became known as the Thrilla in Manila. The heat was unbearable, over 100 degrees inside the arena. For 14 rounds, Ali and Frazier waged war. Ali called it the closest thing to dying. Frazier's eyes were swollen shut, but he refused to quit. After the 14th round, his trainer Eddie Futch made the heartbreaking decision to stop the fight. Ali, just as broken, later admitted, "Joe Frazier is the greatest fighter I've ever faced." Though Frazier lost, he had earned Ali's eternal respect and the world's admiration. After the Thrilla in Manila, Frazier was never the same. His body was broken, his eyesight failing. He tried a brief comeback in the 1980s but retired for good with a record of 32 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw. Unlike Ali, Frazier never regained the wealth or spotlight. He opened a gym in Philadelphia, training young fighters, but struggled financially. And while Ali became a global icon, Joe often felt overshadowed and underappreciated. Perhaps the most painful part of Frazier's story was his long feud with Muhammad Ali. Ali's insults during their rivalry weren't just promotion, they left scars. Frazier felt disrespected, especially because he had supported Ali when he was banned from boxing, even helping him financially. For years, bitterness grew between them. But eventually, in Ali's later years, the two reconciled. Ali admitted, "I couldn't have been the fighter I was without Joe Frazier. He made me great." Joe Frazier passed away on November 7, 2011, after a battle with liver cancer. He may not have had Ali's charisma or Foreman's power, but Frazier had something else: heart, grit, and courage. He was the man who stood up to Ali, not just once, but 3 times, and pushed him to the very edge of human endurance. Frazier showed the world that greatness doesn't always come with flashy words or a loud personality. Sometimes, it comes from quiet determination, relentless work, and the refusal to ever back down. Joe Frazier's story teaches us, never underestimate the underdog. Discipline and heart can defeat talent. Even in defeat, you can earn respect that lasts forever. Frazier may have been overshadowed in history books, but real boxing fans know the truth. Without Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali would never have been Muhammad Ali. That was the story of Joe Frazier, the man who stood up to Ali. Backhand index pointing right. Do you think Frazier gets the respect he deserves compared to Ali and Foreman? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because we'll keep bringing you more untold stories from boxing history. Next time, we'll explore another legend whose journey will leave you stunned.